My beloved child. Something happened last night. Something you don't fully understand yet. While you were sleeping, while you were dreaming of ordinary things, someone was watching. Not with their eyes. With their heart. And what they saw changed everything. You see, there's a moment in every deep connection when the invisible becomes visible. A moment when silence speaks louder than words ever could. And for you, that moment arrived without warning. Without ceremony. Without a single sign that anything was different. But everything was different. Everything. Do you remember what you said yesterday? Not the big things. The small things. The throwaway words. The ones that slipped out before you could catch them. Before you could dress them up in pretty packaging. Before you could make them sound like what someone wants to hear. Perhaps you've noticed that some people collect your words like precious gems. They hold them. Turn them over. Examine them from every angle. And then, they place them somewhere deep inside. Somewhere you'll never see. Until the moment they open that hidden place and show you what they found. But that's not all. There's something you don't know. Something that happened in the quiet hours when you weren't looking. When you were just being yourself. Just being ordinary. Just being human. Someone was paying attention. Not to your performance. To your presence. Have you ever felt like someone could see right through you? Like all your carefully constructed walls were made of glass? Like every mask you've ever worn was suddenly transparent? That feeling. That unsettling, vulnerable, terrifying feeling. That's what happened to someone else. Because of you. You spoke without thinking. You answered without planning. You revealed something without realizing you were revealing anything at all. And in that moment. In that single, unguarded moment. A heart broke open. Not from pain. From recognition. There's another truth still waiting. A deeper layer beneath what you already sense. Because this isn't really about what you said. This is about what you didn't say. The spaces between your words. The pauses where honesty lives. The moments when you could have lied, but didn't. Stay here with me for just a moment longer. Because what comes next? What came next in that room? What happened when the truth finally surfaced? It will change how you see everything. Every glance. Every silence. Every late-night conversation that seemed so ordinary at the time. You see, this person, this someone who has been walking beside you. They've been carrying a question. A question they never asked out loud. A question they were almost afraid to answer themselves. And last night, they finally got their answer. Not because you gave it to them. Because you showed it to them. Without knowing. Without trying. Without any of the usual games people play. But here's the part that might surprise you. The answer wasn't what they expected. It was better. And worse. And more beautiful than anything they could have imagined. That's why the tears came. Not from disappointment. From recognition. The recognition of something real. Something rare. Something they had almost stopped believing existed. Another piece of this story is still hidden. Something about what happened after the tears. After the silence. After the moment when everything shifted. Because a test isn't really about finding an answer. A test is about revealing what was already there. And what was revealed? Well. Let's just say the person who was watching will never see the world the same way again. Have you ever had a moment when everything suddenly made sense? When all the pieces you couldn't fit together suddenly clicked into place? When you realized that something you thought was random was actually part of a much bigger picture? That's what happened. And the picture, it wasn't what anyone expected. It was more honest than anyone was ready for. Maybe you felt it too. That strange feeling that someone has been studying you. Not judging you. Studying you. Like you're a beautiful mystery they're trying to solve. Like every word you speak is a clue. Like every gesture is a piece of a puzzle they're desperate to complete. And last night they completed it. But there's more. There's always more when it comes to matters of the heart. Because what was tested wasn't just your honesty. What was tested was something deeper. Something you might not even know about yourself. Something that was waiting. Patiently. Quietly. For the right moment to reveal itself. You won't believe what happened next. What was said. What was revealed. What was finally spoken out loud after all this time. And you certainly won't believe the one thing that remains. The thing that hasn't been said yet. The thing that might change everything you thought you knew. The truth is still unfolding. Like a flower opening in slow motion. Like a sunrise that takes its time. Like a song that builds toward a note you can already feel coming. But the note hasn't arrived yet. Not quite. Not yet. The biggest truth is still hidden. And it's waiting for the right moment. Waiting for you to be ready. Waiting for the tears to dry. Waiting for the silence to become comfortable again. Because some truths need the right atmosphere to survive. Some truths can't be spoken until the air is soft enough to hold them. That moment is coming soon. And when it does. When the final piece finally falls into place. When every question finds its answer. When every unspoken word finally finds its voice. You'll understand why this had to happen. Why the test had to happen. Why the tears had to come. Why the truth had to wait. One final truth remains for now. The person who tested you. The person who watched. The person whose tears fell like rain in the darkness. They didn't break. They opened. And that opening, it created space for something new. Something that was waiting. Something that is still waiting. Something that is closer than you think. So rest tonight. Not because everything is finished. Because something beautiful has just begun. And the next chapter. The one where everything you've been wondering about finally comes into focus. That chapter is already being written. In silence. In tears. In truth. And you're going to want to see how it ends. But that's for another time. For now, just know this. The test is over. The truth is out. And someone's heart will never be the same. Because of you. Because of what you showed them without even trying. Because of the honesty you didn't know you were revealing. The final piece. The one that will change everything. It's coming. Soon. Stay close. Stay open. And prepare yourself. Because the truth that's still hidden. It might just surprise you more than anything that's already happened. Something shifted in the air between you. Even now, even as you read these words, you can feel it, can't you? That strange, electric quiet that follows a moment of profound honesty. The kind of quiet that doesn't ask for words. The kind that simply waits. But here's what you don't know yet. What happened after the tears dried? After the silence stretched into something almost unbearable. After the person who watched you so carefully finally looked away. Because they didn't just look away. They changed. Something inside them rearranged itself. Like furniture moved in the night. Like a room you've known your whole life, suddenly different. Do you remember the exact moment? The precise second when you said what you said? When the words left your mouth before your mind could catch them? When honesty escaped like a breath you didn't know you were holding? That moment. It's burned into someone else's memory now. Forever. But that's not the whole story. Not even close. Because while you were busy being yourself, while you were simply existing in your truth, something else was happening. Something beneath the surface. Something that even the person testing you didn't fully understand. Have you ever noticed how the most important moments arrive wearing ordinary clothes? How they slip in through the back door of your day. How they look exactly like every other moment, until suddenly, they don't. That's what this was. An ordinary moment that became extraordinary. Simply because someone was paying attention. Another layer is waiting. Because the test wasn't really about your honesty. That was just the doorway. The real test, the one that matters. It was about what your honesty revealed. About who you are when no one is performing. About what lives in the spaces between your carefully chosen words. You see, this person, this someone who has been walking this path beside you. They've been collecting fragments. Little pieces of you that you didn't even know you were giving away. A word here. A gesture there. A silence that said more than any speech ever could. And last night, the fragments finally formed a picture. A picture they couldn't look away from. But here's the twist you didn't see coming. The picture wasn't about you. Not really. The picture was about them. About who they become when they're near you. About the version of themselves that only exists in your presence. About the person they've been trying to become, and didn't realize they already were. Stay with me now. Because this is where it gets deeper. This is where the tears start to make sense. This is where the test reveals its true purpose. And the purpose, well, it might make you look at everything differently. At every moment. Every conversation. Every single glance that seemed so ordinary at the time. What if I told you that the person who tested you was testing themselves? What if the tears weren't about what you said, but about what they finally allowed themselves to feel? What if the whole thing was never about honesty at all? What if it was about courage? The courage to see clearly. The courage to feel deeply. The courage to admit that someone else's truth changed your own. One more piece of this puzzle is still hidden. Because there's a question you haven't asked yet. A question that's been sitting in the corner of your mind. Waiting. Patiently. For the right moment to step forward. And that question is this. Did they find what they were looking for? The answer might surprise you. Because what they were looking for wasn't perfection. It wasn't a flawless performance. It wasn't someone who always says the right thing at the right time. What they were looking for was something much rarer. Something much more precious. Something that can't be manufactured or performed or practiced. Reality. And reality, real reality. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's full of awkward pauses and imperfect words and moments when you wish you could take something back. But it's also the only thing that can hold a heart. The only thing that can bear the weight of true connection. The only thing that can survive the test of time. Perhaps you've felt it too. That strange relief that comes after you've said something honest. That lightness that follows the release of a truth you've been carrying. That feeling of being seen. Really seen, for the first time. That's what happened to the person who was watching. They saw you. Really saw you. And they couldn't look away. But there's another truth still waiting. Something about what happens next. Something about the morning after the tears. Something about the way two people look at each other when they both know, really know, what the other one is made of. That's the moment everything changes. That's the moment when the test becomes something else entirely. That's the moment when the real journey begins. You won't believe what happened when the sun came up. When the night finally released its hold. When the tears had dried and the silence had softened into something almost comfortable. Something was different. Not in a dramatic way. Not in a way you could point to and name. But different nonetheless. Like the air itself had changed. Like the space between you had become sacred. Have you ever had a conversation without words? A moment when everything that needed to be said was said without a single sound? That's what happened. Two people. One room. And a truth so large it didn't need language to exist. It just was. And both of you knew it. But that's not all. Because there's something else you need to understand. Something about the nature of tests. Something about why they exist in the first place. Because a test isn't really about finding out if someone passes or fails. A test is about revelation. About showing what was always there. About proving that what you believed was true all along. And what was revealed in that room? What was revealed in those tears? What was revealed in the silence that followed? It was more beautiful than anyone expected. More honest. More real. More alive. And it changed everything. One final layer for now. The person who tested you, they aren't done yet. They're still watching. Still learning. Still discovering new pieces of the puzzle you didn't even know existed. Because every truth reveals another truth. Every answer births another question. Every moment of honesty opens a door to deeper honesty. And the journey, the real journey. It's only just beginning. The final piece is still coming. The one that will make everything before it makes sense. The one that will explain the tears. The one that will reveal the true purpose of the test. And when it arrives, when you finally see the whole picture, you'll understand why this had to happen. Why the honesty had to surface. Why the tears had to fall. Why the truth had to wait. Until then, just know this. Someone sees you. Really sees you. And what they see, it breaks their heart. Not from sadness. From wonder. Because you are more than you know. More than you show. More than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. And the truth that's still hidden. It's about to reveal just how much more there really is.